Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com coming to you with the December 23rd pre-Christmas Eve report. There will not be a video tomorrow for the half session, as a half session is meaningless and pointless, so I will not be back till after Friday, and after Friday's close, I will return with the market rep video. Let's start off now. The S&P 500 fell again today on even lower volume than the day before. Now, the selling people are upset that they're not getting their Christmas rally. However, folks, low volume pullbacks are bullish longer term. It would be better off to see a sell-off every day this week and every day next week on the low volume below the 50-day volume average, and then have us come back in January and rally on much higher volume than it would be to rally now and then have a heavy volume sell-off in January, because that's the last thing we need with the market that's acting the way it is right now. So for right now, the 500 down 9.97% today is still well below the 50-day moving average, and that's about that for right now. Short-term trend is lateral. Sub-intermediate, the term is lateral. Intermediate, the trend, are you kidding me? Trend is down, and long-term, the trend is definitely down, going back to the October, November, December top that I did warn everybody about. And in November 2007, I did tell every single subscriber to sell all of their mutual funds. This cannot be denied, and I just hope that everybody listened to me, because if you did, you saved yourself on a 50% painful drop in the market from peak to trough. Dow Jones Industrial Average did the same thing as S&P 500 did, pulled back on even lower volume. Still can't get above the 50-day moving average, down 1.18% today. But once again, lower volume pullback is much better than a heavy volume pullback. United States dollar continued to bounce today higher. So for the 4 days after hitting the 200-day moving average, it's up 3.33%. Trend is still higher since getting above the 50-day moving average in May, and then holding in July, and then getting above the 250-day moving average in August, holding the 200-day moving average in December. Things still look okay there. The VIX was slightly up today on the drop, and that's what's supposed to happen when the market goes down. Fear is supposed to increase, but it didn't this week. As for the past week before today, the VIX was down 21%, while the NASDAQ was up 1%. So oddly enough, the market fell on a lot of days, but yet somehow the investors got more complacent. It's kind of a disturbing sign if you ask me, but the VIX looks like it's ready to go back and higher, and that would not be good for the major market indexes, as that means it would be lower. NASDAQ 100, smaller volume than the day before, down 0.5%. NASDAQ down 0.7%, lower volume than the day before. Not much really to worry about there. S&P 600 and Russell 2000 still can't stay above the 50-day moving average, and neither can the NYSE, as it can't get above the 50-day moving average. Now let's look at platinum. As you can see, still holding the 50-day moving average barely in this consolidation area from October to December. Silver continues to hold the 50-day moving average, but barely. It had a very bearish session today, dropping 5.6%. Still, there was still a baby tail on it intraday today from the lows of the session, and there is a possibility that it could find support here at the 50 and then rally higher. However, the 50 appears to be wanting to roll back over with the downtrending 200-day moving average. I wouldn't necessarily load up on silver just yet. As for gold, gold had a slightly down day today, but it still holds the 50-day moving average. But the 50-day moving average is still in a downtrend, and so is the downtrending 200-day moving average. Until the gold can get it back above the 200 and the 50 can turn back up, I don't think I would get too bullish on gold. The only thing I can recommend is that some gold stocks are looking quite pretty, aren't they? Not all of them, obviously, but a few of them. And then, of course, our gold is your leader completely. Next, let's look at oil. Oil is down to $38.98. Just keeps going lower and lower, and it's just amazing that from July to now, in a matter of 5 months and 1 week, crude oil is down 73%. Quite amazing. Just amazing that in less than 6 months this thing has fallen this much. And some people say, oh, that's a great tax cut. But for people like me that don't drive to work, what tax cut is there for me? No tax cut. You want to have a real tax cut? Cut the capital gains tax. Cut the income tax. then you can make more money in the government for the outrageous spending that our government plans on doing to get us out of this economic funk. Now, I want to tell everybody, I'm very disappointed with the amount of platinum and gold subscribers that are showing up on the forums and chat room recently. I want to remind you all, you guys are paying for a premium service. I get returns unlike anyone else. Hebner has lost you 50% this year. Kramer has lost you 40% this year. Madoff lost you 99% this year. Bill Miller lost you 60% this year. Everybody out there that's supposed to be a genius has lost you money. I have made you money this year. I have shorts up from 76% to 75% to 62% to 52% to 51% to 59% to 32% to 38% to 20% to 24% to 44% to 17%, and that's just shorts that were up today. And I have a recent long that's up 21% in 6 days, and it's still holding. And I had another long that was up, I forgot what it was, but right around 9%. I believe it was 7% in 3 days and then 7% in 4 days. So I am getting returns that nobody else that I see anywhere else on realmoney.com, minionville.com, seekingalpha.com is getting. There may be some day traders that are getting some great returns right now, but when the market turns and stocks like AIPC set up in June and go on to make 125% gains in 6 months, they will not be going long those stocks. I will be. So you can enjoy the 20% flippers gains now, or enjoy a 0% gain now while you wait for a future 125% to 350 to 500 to 1,000 to 2,000% gainer in the future. However, I just want to remind everybody, if you don't show up, you will get what you put in. In the stock market, it takes work. If it takes 4 years to graduate from college, why do you think it would take less than 4 years to get the kind of amazing returns that I can get? Why do you think it would take you less than 4 years to be able to find stocks like I do, like AIPC or ANCI in June? Where was everybody going long this stock whenever I was going long this stock? I didn't see anybody load up on it then, or load up on it here, especially in July or August and in June. I didn't see anybody buy a ton of it. Last time I checked, I was the only one. And if AIPC would have been in Telechart, we would have 125% gain now. But it wasn't. But the fact is that if any of you think that you can just stop into my chat room for 10 minutes, or like one of you keeps on doing, stopping in for 2 minutes and then jump out, you are never going to create wealth. You are never going to ever create great wealth, and you will never be able to beat the market every year, no matter what the market does, like I do. The year is almost closed out. I was given an account in November of 2007, and I was told to only go long in this account. I finished out the account, because I'm not going to end up buying any more stocks this year, with a negative 13%. So my worst account that was given to me in November of 2007, and from that time, the stock market from November of 2007 on the NYSE has fallen 46%, while the NASDAQ, during that same time that I was given the account on November of 2007, is down 46%, and at one point, as you can see here, was down 54%. And yet I'm ending the year with my worst account down 13%. I have another account that's down 4%. I have another account that's only up 7%. And my top account, yes, it's poor. It was only up 23% this year. However, I start to look at the top growth mutual funds, and I notice a plus 23% gain in 2008 crushes every single growth mutual fund out there. For the past 12 months, there is not a single growth mutual fund besides Gabelli, which is not a real growth mutual fund, that is not down 20%. So if you are down 19% or 19.8% or 19.17%, you are beating 100% of the growth mutual funds that are out there. And if you have a 0% return this year, you are beating 100% of almost everyone out there. And I have a 23% return, a 7% return, a 3% loss, and a 13% loss. Yet, People are not showing up in my chat room every day. We have 65 platinum members. How come we can't get more than 20 of you in there at one time? I know everyone's working, but I know a lot of you can put in a lot more effort than what you are. And if you give up on the stock market now, guys, because I'm looking at Real Money readership, Seeking Alpha readership, Minionville.com readership, and I can see it declining everywhere. Sharkinvesting.com. I can see that everybody is having a slowdown. If you do not make the effort to follow the market now, you will not be ready for when the next round of AIPC starts showing up everywhere. Go review my past big winners in 1999 and 2003 and tell me if you don't want to be part of those 500% to 2,500% gainers and from 6 months to 12 months. In 12 months, you can get a 3,000% gain out there if you know what you're doing. And it's, to be honest with you, not that difficult in the bull market. So think about where you're at and think about spending more time investing in yourself and investing in this market. This is Josh Hayes of BigWayTrain.com. Part 2 and Part 3 will follow. I'll see you on Friday. Aloha.